Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Everyday Athlete Podcast, recorded live from Omaha, Nebraska. And I'm your host, Katie Danger, U.S. Army veteran and founder of Red H Nutrition, providing everyday athletes just like you clean, effective nutritional solutions, custom formulated to help you reach your absolute potential every single day. Hello, good evening, athletes. This is the very first episode of the Everyday Athletes Podcast, and I welcome you. It is a mild November evening here in Omaha, but word on the street is that we've got snow on the way, potentially 1, 2, 3 inches tomorrow, which, really ain't no thing for somebody who's lived in Nebraska a really long time. But, you never really do get excited or used to it. That first snowfall is kind of exciting, kind of gets your heart rate up a little bit, but then you have to go out and drive in it and do your normal things in it. And that's when it's no fun. But hey, I don't want to digress too much. I want to keep the energy high here. Once again, welcome to the very first episode of the Everyday Athletes Podcast. And I want to tell you a little bit about what this show is about, who it's for, and why you should keep tuning in every single week. So 99% of us are not elite athletes. We are people from all different backgrounds. We're juggling our jobs, our families, their needs, and we're trying to find time to take care of ourselves. So this podcast, the Everyday Athlete Podcast, this is going to highlight clear, concise, and actionable strategies that you can use right now to get the most from your fitness, nutrition, and mindset in order to optimize your life without compromising your time. So time is money. Time is a currency. So here's what the first episode is going to cover. In my 12 years of competitive fitness, and I've competed in lots of different fitness niches: CrossFit, endurance, triathlons, marathons, strongman, obstacle courses, Olympic weightlifting. I really like to try lots of things. Now, the thing that I'm most passionate about is CrossFit. So a lot of these episodes will relate directly to those who are functional fitness athletes. But I tell you, I've adapted so many training lessons to every other training niche that you're going to get something out of this episode. And I'm talking about the 30 most important things, the most important aspects that I have learned throughout my 12 years of competitive training. So I'm going to go through 1 through 30, and then I'm going to have a special offer at the end of this episode. I want you to hang around for it. So the number one thing, this is in no particular order, by the way. So I'm just starting out with number 1. All of these, in my opinion, are really important. Everything is everything. So, if you got to get out a pen and paper, write this stuff down. But I also have a full blog post that goes through 101 of lessons learned through the past 12 years. But I cut it down to 30 because there were really 30 in here that I couldn't be without. I couldn't be the person I was now, the athlete I am now, without these 30 key things. So here we go. Number 1, cadence breathing is important. It will change your fitness if you practice it methodically. I mean, controlling your breath. The last thing that you want in a workout is to lose your breath. And in competition, absolutely, you've got to stay ahead of your breath. You've got to stay in control. That's why if you practice cadence breathing, it's going to kick you up a notch in terms of your fitness level. I want you to train accessory bodybuilding movements a lot. So this is like functional bodybuilding. You can go and you can Google functional bodybuilding and accessory movements, and you're going to find a lot of different programs. I highly recommend that you start adding this, if you're not already, to your routine. Number 3, don't worry about the competition and leave your ego out of it. Number 4, nutrition is dynamic and personal. You'll probably end up trying a lot of different things, and until you find what works, experiment. There's all kinds of stuff out there now. There's keto, there's carnivore, there's plant-based, there's vegan, Atkins, low carb, low fat, high fat. Find what works for you and stick with that, because everybody's different. Number 5, trust the process. Number 6, your body is a machine. Keep it well oiled. Get regular chiropractic, physical therapy, rehab. Make sure you're preventative. Do not wait until something is sort of beyond repair before you pay attention to it. Number 7, I hate to say this, but it's the truth that more people have used steroids than you'd like to think. It's almost like that dirty little secret that's out there, but then there's some people who just don't want to believe it anymore. It's in any sport. It is not just functional fitness. It is not just endurance training or strength sports. It's everywhere. Your everyday athlete is also using steroids. And I have a completely different opinion than most on steroid use. We'll get into that into later episodes. I'm not putting an emotion attached to this at all. I'm not putting a bad or a good vibe on this. I'm just saying more people are using it than you probably realize. Number 8, iron sharpens iron. If you want to get good, practice with people who are better than you. Push yourself. Try to keep up with them. You will get exponentially better if you leave your ego out of it and you start training with people who are better than you. They'll make you better. Iron sharpens iron. Number 9, This is a funny one, but it's true. In personal experience, don't try a new pre-workout before a competition. Just don't do it. You don't know how it's going to set with your tummy. Number 10. This is what I learned from a few competitions that didn't go my way. Make sure that you have a spare jump rope. If you're in a sport that requires a jump rope or there could be a jump rope event involved, make sure you bring a spare one, make sure it's sized, and make sure it's ready to go. Number 11, find your tribe. All these gyms out there have different cultures and different demographics. Don't be afraid to shop around to find what's best for you. Number 12, sometimes it's not always the most physically gifted athlete that wins. It's going to be the smarter athlete. And what I want you to get from this particular tip is you can win by playing your own game and strategizing the events to your strengths and weaknesses. And that way you can maximize your efficiency and your recovery for the best results. So be a smart athlete. If you know you're not the most physically gifted, be the smartest out there. Number 13, enter as many competitions as possible, because if you compete against a lot of different athletes, you're going to see what's out there. You're going to find out a lot quicker what your strengths and weaknesses are, because training is training. Competition is really what all this is for, if that's your end goal. So if you want to find out more about yourself and your ego's out of it, enter more competitions, because you'll find out your strengths and weaknesses a lot quicker. Number 14, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Strive for integrity, virtuosity, and efficiency in all your movements. Not only does this make you see results a lot quicker because you're stressing the muscles the way they should be and you're developing appropriately, but you're going to reduce the likelihood for injury. You don't want to get injured. Ever heard the saying, failing to prepare is preparing to fail? A major component to your competitive success will be your nutrition prep. And I created a competition nutrition guide to help you utilize pre, intra, and post-competition nutrition protocols, boost your confidence heading into a competition, recover quicker post-comp so you get right back to training, and increase your power output and max capacity so you can own that podium. I created this guide just for the everyday athlete, and you can get your free copy at competitionnutritionguide.com. I'll say again, competitionnutritionguide.com. Number 15, if you have an injury, stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. Don't stop working out completely, but stop what aggravates the injury. And especially if you got hurt in a certain movement, you got to find out what's going on. One, you got to pay attention to the injury, make sure you rehab it appropriately so you don't develop any compensation patterns. But number two, you want to make sure that injuries are opportunities, because now you know that you have a weakness in your structure somewhere, in your bodily systems, whether it's the movement or it's the anatomy and physiology. You've got a weakness. Address it. Don't hide from it, and don't keep doing the thing that got you hurt. Focus on getting yourself better and getting back in the game even better. Number 16, it's going to be a little bit hard for some of you to wrap your head around, but PRs are not the most important thing in the world. I want you to strive for consistency and efficiency at near maximal loads. So we're talking about 80 to 90%. Like that sweet spot is 85%. If you can get efficient in 85% efforts, whether you're a strength athlete, an endurance athlete, whatever we're talking about, whatever the 85% effort looks like in your sport, get really, really good and efficient at that level. And I tell you what, your fitness is going to rise quickly. Number 17. For those of you who are on social media and you're always scouring and comparing yourself to others, I want you to keep this in mind, okay? Instagram, it's glitter and rainbows. It is not what it looks like. It is superficial. Do not compare yourself to the glitter and rainbows, okay? Because you'll never win. So keep yourself in perspective. It is you versus you. Number 18, squatting is not bad for your knees. I'm going to say that one more time. Squatting is not bad for your knees. What's bad for your knees is bad form and mechanics. Bad form and mechanics are bad for your knees. Number 19, it's not the gear you've got, it's how you use it. So you can be the most kitted up athlete out there with the best shoes and the best clothes and headgear and moisture wicking, blah, blah, blah. If you don't pay attention to your actual fitness, then none of it matters. So, it's really cool to have cool gear, but it's how you use it that really matters. Number 20, you can never have too many shoes. And I'm absolutely serious about that. When you have different events, if you're an endurance athlete, there's different terrains. If you're a strength sport, there's going to be different lifts, right? If you're a functional fitness athlete, there's also different events, things involved where your shoes matter. So there are not too many shoes. Number 21, there is always someone out there better than you, okay? Leave your ego at the door. I don't know how many times throughout this little segment here that I've said keep your ego out of it, but it's a recurring theme and it's getting repeated because it's important. Number 22, you should know how to swim. No matter what kind of athlete you are, swimming is incredibly, incredibly important. I would highly suggest it as accessory for anybody. I mean, unless you're an actual swimmer, then start adding a swim session into your routine. And especially if you're looking for an endurance workout and potentially have some nagging knee injuries, hop in the pool, get some laps done. Swimming is awesome for recovery and building your endurance. Number 23, whole food macronutrition is foundational, but micronutrition, supplements, they're necessary if you want to squeeze every last drop out of the workouts that you can. And for number 23, I'm going to give you a really special offer on red8shop.com. So stay tuned. We're coming up here in about 7 more tips, couple minutes. Number 24, never underestimate your competition. Number 25, don't repeat your mistakes. If you make a mistake, that's fine. But starts to become a problem is when you keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Don't repeat your mistakes. Learn from them and drive on. Number 26, always be grateful for your abilities. Now, oftentimes if we're not hitting the marks that we thought we should hit or want to hit, we get discouraged and down on ourselves. But you need to be grateful that you even have this opportunity to express your fitness and use your body's physicality to express itself. So be grateful for your ability. Number 27, I believe that to be a really great athlete, to be even fitter than you were before, you should have a general understanding of anatomy and physiology, how the body works, how it processes energy. Once you start to understand the general aspects of your skeleton and your musculature, your tendons, your fascia, and then a little bit about nutrition, you're gonna be able to make choices and decisions about yourself that others just wouldn't know. So this is why I say it's really important that you have a knowledge of anatomy and physiology for your own personal benefit. Number 28, your strengths and weaknesses are going to change a lot over time. So with that, don't get too caught up in one weaknesses or too cocky about one strength, because you're going to have a wax and a wane for your strengths and weaknesses, especially as you age and especially as you transition from one sport to the other potentially. Number 29, you never know who's watching you. You never know who out there in the audience or the crowd or on your social media respects you and adores you and looks up to you. So be a role model. Do your best, even when nobody's looking, and even when things don't go as planned. Keep a smile on your face and keep your head up, because you never know who's looking up to you. And number 30, maybe the most important one, even though I said that there is no particular order to this, number 30 is important. Don't ever quit. Don't ever quit. Because once you quit, you absolutely will never reach your potential. So don't quit. This is a journey. This is a process. And the Everyday Athlete podcast is here to help guide you with those actionable strategies so you can be better tomorrow than you were today. All right, guys, that is it for this first episode. Last thing is the offer that I want to tell you about. And I know that you're out there juggling life and all its responsibilities, and it can get overwhelming. But when it comes to improving your fitness and nutrition, Red H Nutrition has got you covered. So I want you to boost your strength, power, speed, endurance, improve your focus, clarity, and mood, get better sleep, move pain-free, and amplify your life with Red H Nutrition supplements, our micronutrition solution. So, as a listener of the Everyday Athlete podcast, I'm going to invite you to use the coupon code PODCAST20, PODCAST20. It's going to take 20% off your entire order at red8shop.com. So, if you're ready to be better than you were yesterday, head over to red8shop.com, find the supplement solution that's perfect for you, and remember, use code PODCAST20, save 20%. All right, guys, this is Katie Danger. I'm over and out. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk to you again real soon.
This is the podcastfactory.com.